What's up guys, your boy Darkskin, and today we're going to be talking about something very interesting that I found out over the course of me rereading the 7 Deadly Sins manga. Now, before you anime only people leave, there are no spoilers in this video, as everything I'm about to talk about to you guys happened in episode 2 of the newest season of 7 Deadly Sins. In episode 1 of 7 Deadly Sins, newest season, at the very end of the season, we are shown seeing King and Diane and the Fairy King's forest in a hot spring. Now in episode 2, they tell us the reason King is there, and it is because he is obviously the king of the fairies. Not to mention, he protects the fairies. And the reason Diane is there is because she moved the giants and a few others to the Fairy King forest as well. The reason this happened is since the 10 Commandments and the demons have been taking over the world, they have all needed somewhere to go. And one of the safest places around is the Fairy King's forest. The reason for this is the Fairy King's forest has a barrier that doesn't allow unwanted trespassers to travel there. If the Fairy King doesn't want you there or does not allow you to go there, it is very hard and almost impossible to get there, as the forest will just redirect you from the forest so that you will never reach it. Now I know someone is going to say, well Darkskin, why is Bond able to go to the Fairy King's forest if it doesn't allow you to? Well, I'm glad you asked. The barrier is only active with the power of the Fairy King. When Bond was trying to go to the Fairy King's forest, King was not there at the time, as he had lost his memory and was living with Diane. So since King wasn't using his ability for the forest, the barrier wasn't active. But now that King is back, the barrier's back up. So back to the story. So all of the fairies and giants and some other people are all at the Fairy King's forest. Since King and Diane and everyone was home, the fairies decided to start dancing, partying, rejoicing, and whatnot. Most of the fairies had instruments playing to their heart's content, singing in praise, and having as much fun as possible. Soon after this started, we soon start to see flower petals filling the air. Now no one seems to notice or even care about the flower petals because the fairy forest is safe. No enemy can get into the fairy forest without King's permission. So there is no reason to have their guard up or even worry about anything that's going on. This goes on for a while, and then we see Gerard soon start dancing as well. We also see someone start to dance with Gerard, who we soon come to realize is Gloxinia. Now why in the world would Gloxinia be here? Well, remember how I told you that no one can enter the Fairy King's forest without the Fairy King's permission? Well, if you guys didn't know, Gloxinia was a Fairy King as well. Funny enough, Gloxinia was the first Fairy King. So in all actuality, he is probably the person that made the rules for the Fairy King's forest, and he's probably the person that made the barrier for the forest as well. So there's really no way that you could have stopped Gloxinia from entering the forest. Even if you somehow managed to put a barrier up, keeping demons out, Gloxinia would still be able to enter because he's not a demon at all. He is 100% a fairy. He just has demon energy in him. So even if you had that sort of barrier, you still couldn't keep him out. So anyway, we see Gloxinia dancing with Gerard, and to this, Gloxinia says, "So you are still alive." Now I know that doesn't seem like much right now, but that is some epic foreshadowing that they have done. And we will get more information on that in the next episode. So Gerard and Gloxinia were dancing, but only for a short moment. After that, Gerard stops dancing only to notice not only is all the flower petals gone, but no one has a recollection of what they were doing. Not to mention, after looking around, they notice King and Diane are gone. Then, in the next scene, we see Diane and King wake up. As they do, they ask each other where they are, as Diane says that they were just in the Fairy King's forest, but now they're in some type of cave. Soon after their conversation, they find none other than Gloxinia and Droll in the cave with them. Now for the sake of the video, I don't need to go any more into what happened in episode 2. If you guys want to see everything that happened between King, Diane, Gloxinia, and Droll, I suggest you watch episode 2 if you have not already. So with this new episode, we are now revealed what Gloxinia's commandment is and what it does. Gloxinia's commandment is the commandment of repose. Now if you don't know what repose means, it means a state of sleep, rest, or tranquility. Now if you don't know what tranquility means, it's the state of being free of disturbance or calm. A couple synonyms would be peaceful, restful, still, calm, etc. Now in episode 2, when everyone was dancing and having the time of their lives, they didn't have a care in the world. Even when the flower petals were flying all around everyone, they were still dancing and laughing, going about their day. This was all the power of Gloxinia's commandment, repose. So after everyone stops dancing, we see Matrona asking what everyone was doing, as they don't really remember. They were just enjoying themselves and whatnot. So the power of Gloxinia's commandment can put you in a state of being calm, relaxed, and tranquil. And when everyone was dancing and having fun, they were clearly relaxed and calm, as they didn't have a care in the world. Not to mention, in the next scene with King and Deanne, they are both asleep. So not only is Gloxinia able to put you in a state of tranquility, he is also able to put you to sleep. That is how he was able to go into the Fairy King's forest, put Deanne and King asleep, and move them to another location because of his commandment. Now, what if I told you this wasn't the first time we saw this used? Well, in chapter 198, we are shown this exact same scene. And this chapter was released about 3 years ago in 2016. Now, how no one noticed this is beyond me, but while I was rereading the manga, I saw this and immediately knew that this was Gloxinia's commandment. It was right in front of our faces and we had no clue. They go as far as saying the same lines in the manga as well, like Matrona saying, "What were we doing just now?" As well as having all of the flower petals around everyone and it having this sort of light to the manga panels. Gloxinia's commandment is the commandment of repose, allowing him to put people in a state of tranquility and being able to put people to sleep or rest. I thought it was really cool that I was able to find out what Gloxinia's commandment was, because for the longest time we didn't know what his commandment was. And if you guys don't know, I play a game called 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, and in Grand Cross, Gloxinia has been leaked to be coming sometime soon. And in that game, the 10 commandments all have a unique passive. And since we didn't know what Gloxinia's commandment did, we didn't know what his unique passive was going to be. Now, I'm still not sure what his unique passive is going to be in that game, but it is pretty cool that we now know what his commandment does. There are a couple other 10 commandments where we have no idea what their commandment does as well, those being Derriere and Droll. Derriere's commandment is the commandment of purity. Now, we see her walking around almost entirely naked, but we still have no idea what her commandment is. Droll's commandment is the commandment of patience, so I don't know if that just causes him to be completely patient in whatever situation or circumstance, or whatever it may be. A lot of the commandments are pretty vague, so it's not that easy to tell exactly what they do without them telling us exactly what they do. Now, I know I said that Zeldris was my second favorite character and my favorite commandment, but after diving into the information of Gloxinia and who he is, what he does, how he does it, everything like that, over the past couple of days, I've got to say Gloxinia is gonna be my favorite 10 commandment. I'm sorry, you Zeldris fans. I know. Zeldris is such a cool character. I get it. But Gloxinia is a fairy, and you guys know me. I love fairies. Shout out to my boy King. So I'm gonna have to go with Gloxinia. Now, what I will say is I will definitely be looking through the manga and trying to figure out whatever I can figure out about Derriere's commandment and Droll's commandment. I will definitely be making more videos about this type of things once I figure them out, because it would be really cool to figure out what Droll's commandment ability is as well, for the simple fact that we don't know. On top of Derriere's as well, I have a friend who really likes Derriere. I'm not really sure why he does, but he really likes Derriere. So if I was to figure out her commandment ability, that would be pretty cool to tell my friend as well. Make sure you guys stay tuned for my 7 Deadly Sins Season 3, Episode 2, or Season 4, Wrath of the Gods, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, 7 Deadly Sins, Wrath of the Gods, Episode 2, reaction and review. As I am going to be reacting to it. I know I didn't react to Episode 1, but I do want to start doing reactions to the episodes, and I do want to start reviewing the episodes and talking about it and going over it for you guys, so that y'all can get an idea of what I'm thinking and how I'm going about it, etc. Yada yada yada. This was a really fun video idea. I do enjoy going over a lot of different informations in this anime slash manga. On top of, it was something that nobody knew, really. Like, if you look on YouTube or on the internet or whatever, everyone didn't, like, nobody knew what this Commandment ability did. So the fact that I was able to figure it out was something pretty cool to me. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below, and with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.